Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the session. Everybody should be able to hear me? Welcome everybody. We wait a little bit for others to come in. I just did a little post on LinkedIn as well to see if I can attract some more people, but we already have a fair number of attendees that have subscribed. So I think we can start. I will just start, and everybody that joined in later can join in. Okay, so yes, my name is Wim Jongman. Welcome. I think you all know me. I am the CTO of Remain Software, and on behalf of my development team and actually the complete company, I am now presenting what we have done in the past year and also a little bit of the year before, because we really didn't have a proper session for version 17 in some way. So there are a lot of great stuff happened there as well. So we will take a look there as well a little bit. I'm going to do a lot of live stuff. A lot can go wrong. I hope not, but we will see. Okay, so let's start. So I'm going to get you these presentations, and you might see that, that most of the topics are linked. So when you get this presentation PDF, you can just go and click, and then it will go to all the information about what we did in V17, and this link goes to V18, and we have Octo AI Studio information. So if you find some stuff interesting, don't worry. I will send you these slides, and then you can just open them, click, and it will jump directly to the source of information for that specific topic. Okay, so let's continue with version 17, and let's see what we did there. So yeah, obviously we have opened up OMS for VSCode and the web. We already had that in V17 and basically also in V16, but we didn't have a lot of traction back then for opening this up. V17 already got a little bit better, but still a lot of people have not, let's say, made the jump to come off the green screen of RDI and jump to VSCode. But now with V18, we are basically fully up and running with VSCode and web. And so what we will see is that the RDI part, let's say the Eclipse client, will of course not get as much attention as the VSCode part. So we consider that RDI part complete. We will not add any new features to it. All new features will go to VS Code and Web UI. And obviously, if there are bugs in RDI or in Eclipse, then we will, of course, go ahead and fix them and deliver new versions for that as well. But any new stuff will go into VS Code and the web. We have created a public documentation site for that. So a lot of people said, okay, when I'm going to find documentation, you have everything on the wiki, but it is not, I have to log in and things like that. So we have started opening up a documentation just on the web, right? So you can just go there without any login, and Google can find it and all those nice stuff. So let's take a look and look at VS Code and the web UI concepts first. So this is the first part of the demo. So let's go to the web part. This is TDOMS on the web. So you can go to http octo.remainsoftware.com. You can create an organization there, and the organization makes sure that only your people have access to the content of your organization, basically. So you can create an organization. So I made here an organization Remain Software, and only I and of course everybody in Remain Software can see that. and others are hidden. So just like in GitHub, you can have a organization there as well. So you have your own organization, your own name, but you can make an organization for your company, and it makes sure that everything is hidden behind that wall, right? So this is the same way that Octo works. So Octo requires a server. And the server is you can use our public server that we have opened up. You can use it free of charge, but you can also install Octo on-prem, Octo server on-prem. It's a little Docker image, and then you can start it, and then you are really totally isolated from everything. So what do you see here? Well, it looks a little bit like what you are used to in the graphical user interface, right? So here we have our work management overview, basically all our open tasks. And then you have a lot of supporting views that show the content of that specific part. That is basically the old-fashioned RDI, let's say, workflow, and that still works today, right? You will see the same pattern back in VSCode and in basically all IDEs. TDOMS is divided in workspaces, so you can see there's a workspace TDOMS there at the top, and you can make multiple workspaces for specific parts. So, for example, there's an analytics workspace. We have put in an analytics overview that will start on the warnings tab, right? So if you open that up, you can see some problems, quote, quote, in your DevOps environment. For example, there is in the application XMP, there are 13 stale tasks. So a stale task is a task that is in development for longer than 1 month. That is how we have defined it, but you can, of course, tweak that. And if it crosses a specific threshold, for example, here 5, that's also a threshold that we have set that you can set, then it will appear here in the warnings part. So, for example, on this part, we can say, well, any developer can have only a maximum 5 tasks in development. And here you can see if developers are overloaded with tasks, and that might be something for management to look into and see what's going on. But you can see here this workspace analytics. There's a workspace TDOMS. And we also have a Kanban workspace. Let me just open that up for you as well. So the Kanban basically shows the tasks in a Kanban style, in a lane style. So how we have done that is just checking what boards we have, and a Kanban board can be defined in the backend. So here we have, for example, a milestone 01, milestone 02, etc. And inside such a milestone, we can create tasks. And then when you open that milestone up, you can see, okay, all the tasks that are not yet started, that have been created but have not yet been started, are in the to-do. And then you basically can see your workflow over here, and you have your development test integration, and you can see all the tasks and what people are doing, have filters on it as well. And if you want to do a deployment, you can just drag the task from test to integration and deploy it like that. So it's a really easy way for people to overview what is going on in a specific time period, in a Kanban time period. And it's also very easy to do a deployment by just drag and drop from one lane to another. Okay, so this is the presentation in the web, and we, of course, we take inspiration from tools like VS Code. See how do they do it, and then we can basically do it in the same way. For example, we have theming. Okay, there it is. Takes a little while, right? So we can go dark and go light. And there is stuff where you can say, okay, I just want to hide a specific section like that. Another thing that we have done differently is we try to put information where it belongs. For example, we have this customer table update program. If I click that, it will open up in in what we call the task editor. I upped my resolution a little bit so that it is so that you can see it better, but obviously I would have a higher resolution for more space on my screen. But I clicked on a task, and now my task editor is opening in a specific spot on the window. And basically everything that belongs to a task is now grouped together. So we used to have a separate comments view, or a separate transfer history view, or a separate links view where you could see to it what Jira ticket it was attached to. But now everything is grouped basically in the same element. So I can open my task editor, and then I can find everything that is related to it. I can then open up like that and see here, for example, the extended description and the status and things like that. And here is all the objects that are attached to it. So a little bit about the UI, and you will see the same thing happening inside VS Code. So I have VS Code over here, and we have made an Octo framework, and that Octo framework enables us to have a one code base and show it inside the web, show it inside VS Code, show it inside Bob. So it's a really nice way for us to make sure that we only have to code one UI and can reuse it everywhere. So you will see the same information also inside VS Code. So once you know VS Code, you basically know the web, and it will help you work in different spots. So the web is really useful as well to do quick things, right? So if you don't need a full editor, you want to make a quick fix, then actually you can click on that object and then really start an editor straight away in the web. If you want to do some rectification, you don't have to open VS Code, you just get a link. So what I can do here is I can get a link from my task. Task link. Copy that, and then I can send that to somebody, and they click on that link, and the web view opens up, and they can start working on that task. So you can make emails with links to tasks, to objects, and when you click on it, it will automatically open in the web. What we also do is, so maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's continue to the next part. So that is a little bit of the VS Code and Web UI concepts. So how to install it in VS Code? It is simple. You go to the extensions tab, look for TDOMS, and then click install, and it will work. If you like this, if you also want to start working with VS Code, let us know. We will help you. We will help you get started. So I already talked about public documentation. So that is also reachable from all of these sections, right? So if I click here on so if you want to know, okay, what can I do with work management? You basically click this link, and then it will open up on that specific section for, it will open up that specific section, and then you can see, there's a lot to do in the work management view, as you can see from the topics. But you can just read about it and see, okay, this is it, and what can I do with the toolbar, and everything is available in here. How can I search and really try to make it easy for everybody to start learning the different elements inside the web and also inside VS Code. Okay, that's the documentation. So another thing that we have done is events. It is a back-end thing, but it is really, really powerful. Let me just take a look and see if nobody's waiting in the lobby. It looks like everybody is in. That's great. So we have events, right? So a really powerful thing is an event basically is something that happens inside TDOMS, or you can extend it also to use it in your own software, but let's just focus on TDOMS. So something happens. It doesn't really matter what, right? you create a task, you connect an object, an application was created, a transfer failed. So all these things are events. So basically, anytime we write something in a database to register it, that is basically an event. And we have invented a mechanism, also based on, of course, existing ideas, to allow you to hook into anything that happens inside TDOMS. So, for example, if a task is created, you want to get an email, right? Somebody creates a task in TDOMS, you want to get an email. So that is something that you can do with the event mechanism. So let me just show you that. And I was looking for it here as well, where it is on the menu. Exception management, maybe. Yeah, okay. So here we have two new menu options that are topic maintenance and event subscriber maintenance. And the topics basically are the things that happen. That's like a term in event management. You call it a topic. It is basically the subject of what is happening. So let me show you the topics that we have. Let me then go to task, filter on it. So here, a task was added. That is a topic. Whenever we add a task in the database, we send an event with this topic. And this topic also has a specific payload. And the payload is the information about that event. So if I do a display over here, you can see that the payload or the key contains the application code and the task number of that event. So basically, you know in what application was what task created. And then you can use that information to call a program, to send an email, and do all kind of stuff with that information. So these are all the topics. You can see there's many. I filled it on task, but there are like, I don't know, maybe 1,000 different topics where you can say, well, if somebody changes an application, I want to know that, right? So what has happened? So this is something that you can use for that. You could also add your own topics. So you could say my topic XXX, something like that, and you can send that event from your own program. So we have a service program for it to help you do that. And then, if you want, you can hook that in yourself. But let's not go off topic and continue with this. So now we have the topics. You can trust that we will send the event. And now you have this subscriber part where you can subscribe to a specific event or subscribe to a specific topic. We still don't have any. I'm not sure if we have UI for this, but okay, anyway. So if something happens, I can create a new topic. So that is something like, demo 15.7. And I can say send message or send SMTP email or whatever I want to do. And I can say APPC received task, and then I want to send that to my user profile. So this is the subscriber. So you can see send message. So any command can be added here. And what you now want to do is you want to listen to an event. So I can go in here and I can say, okay, I want to listen to the topic task add. Task add, and give a description, send to him. So now whenever a task is added from this point on, this event, this subscriber will be activated and say, okay, you are, somebody created a task and I will get a message automatically. Okay, so let's see if that actually works. So I go in and I create a new task. Hello there. So the event manager is not, it can be direct, right? So you can say it is synchronized. It means it will be called straight away when something happens. But normally you want to do it not synchronized. It means it is being picked up at some point when the event manager goes and makes a loop. So that could be every 15 seconds. So you can see is the message XMP received task XT0818. So a really nice way to extend TDOMS and hook in your own software into the whole development lifecycle. Okay, so I think I have to speed up a little bit and not show maybe too much. So there's this export-import TDOMS definitions, which is something that we have made to help you, right? So at some point you say, okay, well, this is not working in a specific workflow, and I'm not seeing what I want to see. Then we have this export-import TDOMS definitions, and if you click there, it goes to the help. That will basically extract your definitions, put it in a JSON file. You can send it to us, and then we can import your definitions into a new application and see how you have defined your application. You can also use it for backup purposes. So you say, okay, well, before I make a change to my application, I'm going to export it. And then I'm going to make my changes. If it doesn't work, I can import it back into the database. That old specification. So a little bit like a backup mechanism. There's a command for it. You can take a look at that. Then we have managed deployment, which is kind of a big change in the distribution in the deployment process. So what we used to do is we used to send our software already to the remote system when you do a deployment to a remote system, right? So we would just go there, put it in a save file, send it over to the remote system, tell TDOMS on the other end to start deploying that software or to schedule it. Now, that part has been changed to, for example, at scheduling, to schedule locally. So not send it, but be able to schedule it locally so that if something changes, then you don't have everything already on your remote machine. You can just block it on your sending machine. So that managed deployment enables you to hold something, to resend a deployment if something was wrong. So that is a real nice addition to our deployment mechanism. And we will see a little bit later of that as well. So there's a link, and if you're interested, if you have a large number of remote systems, that managed deployment really is something that you can use to optimize your deployment strategy. So then we have the TDOMS REST server that will give all the information that you see in the web. So getting all the tasks is a service, open the task wizard, do a check-in, check-out. Everything that we do in the web is backed up by a REST server on the IBM I. And that REST server needs to be started when you want to make use of VSCode and the web. And there is a TDOMS REST server configuration program for it that will basically click you through it. And once you have that activated, there is this public REST API that you can use to hook into TDOMS from the outside, right? So it really opens up TDOMS for everybody that wants to hook into to TDOMS. And that public REST API is on GitHub. So I clicked on that link. And over here, you will see all our APIs, but a little bit lower, you can see how you can use the API. First, you have to get a token by logging in, and then you can go to the database, go to the task, create a new object, add objects to the compile queue, and all this information shows you how you can use the TDOMS REST API. So for people that want to extend TDOMS, they can just hook into the API and extend it like that. Just like any modern application can do, right? So open up the API so we can integrate it. We also made a lot of command line APIs inside the backend, and that is something that you can use to programmatically create applications, application definitions, remove them on the backend, right? So there is this OMS API menu. I will not dive into that. But here you can see all the application interfaces that we have created to completely automate everything that you can do in TDOMS without going to any screen. So that is also something obviously that we needed to make the REST server, so we made it available for you as well. All right, so that's a version 17 catch up. Let me see if there are any questions in the comments. I don't see any, so that's good. Let's continue. So let's take a look at some of the new and noteworthy in Web and VS Code of V18. So we have, let me just go again. Again, you can, once you receive it and you're interested, you can click on any of those topics and it will bring you to the documentation. But let's just take a look at some of the things that we did in TDOMS. So let's start with the dependencies drill down. I will open up VS Code. What we see here is a components view, right? So the same components view as you have in the green screen and in RDI. And I can search for something. For example, I can do, I don't know, customer maintenance. So here's my customer maintenance program, and what we have added is all kinds of shortcut buttons. So the things that you use the most will also be immediately visible here. So you, of course, can always go through the menu, but the menu is always a little bit of a awkward system, right? So you have to just point and click and then go in, and then if you go a little bit out, and you know how the menus work. So what we try to do is the things that you use the most, we will create shortcut buttons. And also if there is something specific to this object, so for example, this one has the labels and this one has comments, we will automatically add shortcut buttons so you can go in there real quickly and see the comments about that specific object. But one thing that we added is the drill down over here. So when I click that, you can see we have a list of dependencies. There's two directions of the dependencies. What am I using? So what is this program actually using? So there's a bunch of objects over here, which I can also drill down to, right? So there's that same icon. But what we have here also is, what tables are there? What programs are there, right? So it is now easier to take a look at that. And then we can drill down. We can also take a look at the other end. So who is calling me? So this is being called by this OMH Serial 11 program. So that is bidirectional. So you can see what the dependency tree of that object is. There is also a dependency chart. So I can open that up and I will see the dependencies graphically. So you can see 22 using, 1 used by. And so I can then drill down, and so the reason why it says 21 here is that we organized this a little bit different. I think it should be the same. Maybe you didn't notice, but I did. So then you can open that up and you can see what programs are available, are calling that, right? So this is the dependency drill down. If you want to send this to somebody, you can just go here and find the link. Where's that link? Here's the link icon. So you can click that link and then it will open that page. You can send that link to somebody else and then it will open up in the web page automatically, right? So everything is basically linkable. So here, whenever you see this link, you can get that link, click on it, and it will open up in a new tab, and you can send it to somebody else. But that's what I already talked about. So this is the dependencies drill down. In the components view, we also have now explicit messages. So if you want to maintain a message, you can do that. So we have all the messages that you have in your system available here. This is everything about customer maintenance. So then you can drill down who's using it, but also attach it to a task and check it out and change it. We already had the members and normal objects, and we will be adding here for the next milestone, we will be adding procedures. So I lead procedures, so you can see all your procedures and see who is using those and who is exporting those. If you have a big task, for example, this customer table update task, you want to be able to filter it, and there's new filters over there. So you can see everything that is available in that specific list of objects. So you can say, if something is in development, if something is in test will appear here. So you can just easily filter out everything that is in that specific task that you're interested in. So that's especially usable for big tasks. Then we have the remote job monitor, which hooks into to your deployments. You want to see when you send something out, okay, was it received? Was there an error? What is the history of all those transfers? So we made a really nice view, which is called the remote job monitor. And that's over here. So let me do that in VSCode. So how do you open stuff inside VSCode? So below here is a plugins view, and these are all the plugins that you can open, but you can also find them over here. So where's my remote job monitor? It's over here, so I can open it like that. And the remote job monitor shows you the statistics of the last year. Typically things that are interesting is, okay, what has failed over the last year and why was that? So you can make a little bit of an analytics. And there's also an unconfirmed, anything that is that has failed and is still open, you can see here. And so you get this big statistics about, okay, what is going on in your deployment status. So you can see how well you do. And here basically are the statistics over the last year. It's now a bar, but you can also make it a line diagram so that you can see if there's any trends that you can discover in your deployment failures or in your successful deployments. Yeah, and then if you click over on that item, you go directly to the details of that item and see all the deployments that are currently underway, and then you can drill down back into the tasks to see, okay, when was it sent, what task was it about, so a really nice view for people that are concerned with deployments to remote systems. It gives you a really good insight in what is going on in your deployment status. And you can also see that there are things that can be held, that can be scheduled. And if something is scheduled, you can reschedule it. I'm not sure if I can do that here. It doesn't react, but you can reschedule that transfer to run on an other date or immediately submit it. That is what happened. What you can do here in this details part, and for that you have to activate the remote. The remote job monitor. How did I say it? It is the managed deployment functionality. So in managed deployment functionality, you can again find over here. Okay, so we also have a comments interface. So basically, you can go to your components view and again find something like customer maintenance. And if there are any comments on a object, on a task, they are displayed here. So you can click on that link and it will open up directly on the comments view. And you can see, okay, what did the developers say about that specific object? So for example, must be an activation group caller or any other comment that you want to add there, you can put in here. For the tasks, obviously, the task comments, you can add comments about the state of the task or what needs to be done. You can even make comments on individual objects. So that's a nice way to document everything that is going on inside the TDOMS. So try it out and let us know what you think about it. We have made an interface to Oscar, so we will be doing a separate session on Oscar and TDOMS. So for people that don't know Oscar, Oscar is an application that uses AI to manage, no, not to manage, to document your application. So basically you say, okay, these are my libraries. Oscar, go ahead and use AI on every object, on every source, on every table, and make knowledge out of that. And then you can go to Oscar and say, okay, where do I create a task? You can say something like, okay, I have a problem in this, I have this bug in this program. Oscar, what could be wrong? So Oscar really knows about your application, and it is different from other tooling like Bob, for example. Bob does not store any information about your application. Oscar stores everything, so it knows everything immediately. It doesn't have to scan your 20,000 sources first before it actually knows something, right? It has done that already in advance. The Oscar interface allows us to jump straight from TDOMS into Oscar. So it is documented here. I can unfortunately not show it live here because my example application is not linked to Oscar. But if it was, it would you would find it here, and then it would open Oscar on that specific object, and you could start asking questions about it or let it analyze the sources. It's good that I cannot go into that because it actually means that I would spend like too long there, right? Because it's such a wonderful application. Okay, the shortcuts we already talked about. So instead of going here and do a promote or a checkout, I can just directly push the rocket here and say, okay, I want to promote this task to test. So it will bypass a lot of searching and menu clicking. It will just directly open that wizard for us and activate that. Also, I can check out or pull down a task, right, if it's not in development. And anything that is wrong with the task is also showed here, of not wrong. So this is linked to an issue. This requires some rectification before it can continue to the next environment. So those shortcuts really make your life easy. It tells you immediately what is going on with a specific task and will help you work faster. And then there's a little thing, the transfer progress. So yeah, I'm not going to really dive into that, but it used to be like a deployment would be like a black box. So send it over and it will fail or it will succeed, but we really don't see it in the back end. But with the transfer progress, you can really follow what is going on with the task, and then it will really tell you, okay, it was successful or it failed. So yeah, and a little thing, but very nice in V18 to have that available. Okay, so for the back end, there's a bunch of things, and let me just take a look at my time here. Okay, I'm still sort of good. We are now also supporting Git, but we need customers that really want to go to Git, right? So it's a big thing. So if you have like a 20,000 sources application, yeah, how do I get started with all that stuff? So we will help you with that. And we are also looking for a way to optimally use Git inside an IBM environment, because it's really not all that clear how that is really related. A repository and a multi-stage development pipeline where, yeah, okay, so it's not easy to link the two, but we really want to do it. We made some software for you that we think you will like. But the first thing that you need to do is to get your sources into Git, right? And yeah, we have created this command to do that for you. So it will take your sources and make them Gitable. So it's not like you will have a OMH011.rpgle in your Git repository, but we really make it like this, right? So we have here customer maintenance. You would naively say, okay, the name of the file is omh.11.rpgle, but we make it like this. We take the description and we make customer maintenance.omh11, which is the implementation name, .pgm, so we know it's a program and not a module, .rpgle. And then you have something that people can actually read, right? And know, so the backend has information and the front end has also information about your application. So this is what this ins Git OMS does. It will help you migrate your let's say your code with proper descriptions to Git. And then also when you are editing something like that, inside VS Code, we made a Control E. And you can click TDOMS. It will push this change source to TDOMS, either copy to a traditional source file or compile it directly from the IFS object. So this is how you can, not do a great RPGLE program like you can do in PDM, but really tell TDOMS, attach it to a task, and add it to the build queue and connect the program also to the task, right? So this is what we have done for Git in this version. If you are interested, we are very interested in you to make sure that we have a really nice workflow for Git and the traditional steps that we have. Okay, so we have made a very OMS server. So normally when you do an implementation in TDOMS, you want to stop and start your subsystems and your REST service. So we made one command to stop everything, do the implementation, and then start everything up again, right? So that's a new command that you can use. Then we have the branches. They were collapsing under their own success. So branches are so convenient for customers, and branches are a sub-environment, a little isolated environment where you can do your development. That was inspired, obviously, by Git branch and by Subversion branch, but we can also do it natively. But now we have customers that have more than 30,000 branches. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. And we reached the limit of what we can do. So we made in the branch API a stash. So you can say, okay, well, this hasn't been worked on for like half a year. Let's stash that branch, keep it safe somewhere, but get rid of it from the active branches. And then later, if you want, you can restore it. So we made a UI for that and an API. And also an API to add a task to the build queue from your own programs, so also needed to hook into Git. And again, you can click on that to get more information. Okay, so now, of course, AI, right? So we will not forget AI. So we wanted to do it right, okay? So we made first an application that will help us to open up anything that we connect to, anything that you want to connect to AI. So basically, let me just go inside this explanation. So you have your AI model and you can ask it the question, why is the sky blue, right? And then the AI say, blah, 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 whatever. But if I want to know how many customers do I have, it says, okay, I don't have access to your data, right? And that is what we try to solve. How can I get AI to also link to your data? Now, what we do is we typically have the way that it is done is called MCP. I will talk a little bit later about that. The MCP can talk to a communication link and, for example, an open API specification or a web service, and then get to your data like that. But the link between your data and the AI is basically what they call an MCP. Talk about that later. So then the next step, how many customers do I have? It goes through, it sees, oh, there's a customer MCP, and that connects to this web service that goes to your data and figures out the answer. Now, what is this? Okay, let's first talk about the web service. Well, that is, an open API specification. It's an industry standard, and we can help you open up your data, but you probably already have web services, right? So described by this open API specification. So that is how you normally get to your data. But you could also use other things like JDBC directly. But typically, if you have these kind of things, then you are golden with Octo AI Studio. So let's take a look at MCP, right? So that's the big question here. What is that? So MCP is what they call Model Context Protocol. It basically adds the context about your business to the AI. So it's not only that AI model anymore, but also anything that you want to open up to the AI from your data. So it provides context to the model. And the protocol is the way to do that. So that is what MCP means. And it glues, it's the glue between business and AI. So, and then of course, like this lady, okay, fine, but how do I even get started with that, right? And that is what we made with Octo AI Studio. So let me go back here to my presentation. Where am I? I am here and start that up. So I already told you earlier that we have that we created all these REST services, right? So then we created Octo AI Studio, and basically we take that REST service, we drop it into Octo AI Studio, and Octo then knows, okay, how to create automatically an MCP from that information and make it available straight away, for example, in VS Code. So one of the things we can do with that is we can use the AI can use the backend services. So it can create tasks, connect objects, start transfers, make source changes, etc., and even send emails. So let me show you that, right? So by just hooking up the things that I showed you earlier in GitHub, all these APIs. So if I show you, for example, the task API, it is just a description of how to access the backend. And we drop that specific source into Octo AI, and we have already done that. And then Octo AI knows how to operate that JSON, and we create that MCP automatically. So let's take a look at that. Let me close this and go to Octo. Okay, not sure why that popped up. So let's try that, right? So we have the AI over here. We can say, create a task in XMP, maybe application XMP, and open the task editor when you are done. Okay. So of course I want to add a little bit more context, like, okay, what is the task about, right? So you can, but basically it's just I hope now that it tries to figure out what it needs to do. So it knows, okay, there's this TDOMS task API MCP server. It created task 819, and then it will open up the task editor for us. There it comes. Task created by GitHub Copilot, and it has opened it up. And if I press refresh here, you can see that this task was actually created by GitHub Copilot. So this is how you can integrate AI with Octo. So all the things that we can do by the REST service can also be done by Octo. So we can it accesses the database, it can create reports, and it can also send an email. Okay, so I can ask that, send this task information to my email. Just the information. Do not fetch Okay, just the information. Let's just see what it can do, all right? I don't want it to go to the database and make a big report out of it, but let's just see what it does. So we created stuff that hook into our backend. Okay, can I get your current user context? Yes, yes, you can. So it knows who I am. I have your email address. Can I do this? And you can see it asks for permission, but you can also put that permission in here and say, okay, always do it, right? Not advice because you really want to know what AI is doing, but email sent to Wim Jongman. So let's take a look if that has arrived. Okay, so it says here, great. Well, this is really minimal, right? It could have done really a better job. But one nice thing is hooked in the link. So if I click on that link, it will open up Octo on that task straight away. And that is what I mean by linking. Everything is now linked together. Yeah. So let's see if it can open it up. Yeah, task created by GitHub. And I can say, okay, something. I can add a comment, for example. Wow. And then wow it over here with multiple explanation points. Okay, so now I made a comment. And then, of course, if I go back here and do a refresh, there's this comment tab saying that somebody said something about this specific task. Okay, so yeah, that is basically the Octo AI. So what I showed you, it can create a task, it can email, it can create reports, it can access the database. So create reports, you could say, show me all the tasks completed since January 1, group them by programmer, and make a link for each of them and send that to me by email, right? So things like that you can ask the AI because it can access the TDOMS database completely. So we have opened up the database in a safe way, so people that are not allowed to look in a specific application don't see that, right? So that is blocked on the back end to not allow that specific user to see anything that it cannot see. So everybody can just safely mine that database. It's read only and yeah, get every information, 170 tables, get every information possibly requested, required from that database. All right. Now, I think I have not much time left, so I have 5 minutes. So there's one thing that basically also needs to be added to this AI part, and that is skills. So you have your tools like, oh, you can create a task, fine. You can connect an object, okay, that's fine too, and send a report. But sometimes you have to be really elaborate, and the AI loses its way, and it doesn't know what to do. But skills basically instruct it, say, okay, give me a task report, then the skill know, oh, from the database, I need these files. I want to have it in this specific format. So with skills, you can basically tell the AI how to use the tools in a correct way. And you can create skills with Octo AI Studio. So I don't have enough time to show you about it. I just can show you the AI, the UI for the AI. If you are inside Octo Web, you just click on your avatar over there and then open Octo AI Studio. And inside here, you can see all the available Open API specifications. And it should show you. So we have a bunch of built-in, right, that we deliver. But you can also add your own over here. So I created, for example, a customer service JSON to show how you can open up your customer database for AI, right? That's one of the things that you can do. So these are the specs. I will not tell you anything about it right now, but I hope you are impressed by this. And then there's the skills admin. So inside here, I can make skills and tell AI how to actually use the tools to make something that I want. So I made a task report skill. And here are the instructions. So for example, the workflow step, I tell it, analyze the request from the user and ask any follow-up questions. Then use the TDOMS database servers and focus on these files because they contain the task information. So the AI doesn't go and get lost in all kind of, yeah, you know what it does. And then tasks are organized per application. So it is important to know which application to work from. So this is how you can create skills. And then you can say, okay, great. Now I want to deploy this skill. And you can say, I want to deploy it inside VS Code. I want to deploy it in anti-gravity. I want to deploy it in Bob. Oscar is also coming along. So I want to deploy this in Oscar. Oscar actually does it right. So we don't really have that much problem. But yeah, this is how you can tell where to deploy it. And then there's nothing that you need to do. You just go back to VS Code and then go into this little Octo AI and say skill, reload all Octo skill files. It will pull it from the server, and from that part, everybody can start working with that skill. So really a lot of fun. And I'm going to create a separate session about this, right? So an hour long diving into this and having fun with AI. And TDOMS, and also hook in your own stuff into AI. So really nice stuff. And if you want to know more about it, let me know. So I have 1 minute left. So that was actually a good timing. So let's see if there is somebody left. And if there are any questions, yeah, filter, great, Dirk. So are there any questions that people want to ask? You can put it in the chat. And otherwise, oh, maybe there's a Q&A there. So yeah, no questions at the moment. Well, we're almost, or are they? Let me just see it. It's refreshing. I don't see any questions yet in the chat. A filter for tasks, yes, absolutely. So we are looking into that. There's a ticket for tasks, and we will create reusable filters there, right? So you can just make a bunch of filters and then make them active, and not having to specify it every time. That's definitely on the list. Okay, so if that was it, thanks everybody for joining, and we will see you online somewhere. And yeah, thanks for spending this time with me. Really enjoyed it, and see you around. Yeah. Thanks everybody.